You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Stop our show.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by the Ty Capone here, fresh off of Super Bowl 58, ladies and gentlemen. Last night, the Chiefs took a victory, back-to-back Super Bowl W's, this time against the San Francisco 49ers, 25-22. Final score. Cry, 49ers cry. I couldn't be happier, and it couldn't have happened to a better organization and a better fan base. I hope you all are so sad today, and all of you scumbags in San Francisco cry and continue to cry, because you are just one step above Cowboys fans. You haven't experienced any true victories, championships that is, and you are still just looking back at videos of Steve Young and Joe Montana from the past. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone. Ty, how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I had a wager on the Chiefs. I had a bunch of people over. We actually had a good amount of people show up for a nice little Super Bowl soiree, if you will, at me and my roommate's spot. So that was fun. We had a couple doggos came over.
Hell yeah.
Nice little lab. We had him running around, not biting me, just scratching me up a little bit. That was fun. A bunch of liquor, all the stuff, all the things, and the Chiefs won. So I hope Niners fans. I hope they're over playing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I know I am. I know we are.
Yeah.
But now they get another taste, and they get Kyle Shanahan just faltering in any kind of Super Bowl moment for the third straight, not straight consecutively year-wise, but the third appearance he's made. He has blown a 10-point lead again. That's crazy.
So
I think he's such a great mind, but man, Spags just took his lunch money, I guess, running all this motion and shotgun and long developing plays when they're zero blitzing you is that 3rd and 4, man. It's gonna haunt them for a while. But great teams find a way to win. Travis Kelce didn't do shit in the first half, and then he showed up. George Kittle, Key West Kittle, had one catch for 4 yards, and then he had one catch for 0 yards, and that's all he did. I don't. Did he play? Actually, He might not have played. I think he thinks the game's tomorrow. Actually, let me see if he knows. Oh, it's the wrong Sunday. Next Sunday they play.
Okay. Right.
Deebo Samuel. I don't know.
Shockingly, was grabbing his hamstring at some point during this game.
Yeah,
it seems
he got hurt.
Like that always
so
happens.
bad. Yeah, weird. And then he came back in the game and did Dickie McGee's acts. He barely outplayed Kyle Juszczyk.
Juszczyk had a hell of a game. Probably the only guy that really. Jawan Jennings was about to win MVP if it had gone the other way.
Yeah, shout out to Kristen Juszczyk, Kyle's amazingly beautiful wife, by the way. Jawan Jennings, what a play that was.
That was a hell of a play.
I don't know if it was L'Jarius Sneed, but he bodied that corner, number 38. Just don't know who he is. Leo Chanel had the game of his life, blocked the extra point, and he forced the fumble in the first quarter. Really, two just huge moments of that game. Shout out to Wisconsin Badgers. Couldn't be my LSU Tigers this year. Hey, but Mahomes was. I honestly don't think Brock Purdy was that bad. His numbers don't look amazing. He didn't run. He didn't use his legs as much as he usually sometimes does. But I think Nick Bolton kind of being a spy, kind of just being that off-ball linebacker that Spags just knows what he's doing, man. Like, these guys weren't getting open. There wasn't any run lanes. Christian McCaffrey, his longest run of the night was 11 yards. He was doing well as a receiver, but it didn't seem like in the second half they could really get anything going in the pass game. Again, Ayuk had a decent game, but he just only 3 catches. Debo had 3 catches. Kittle had 2. They couldn't do anything. 2 turnovers, just costly turnovers. The special teams absolutely fucked them when that guy the punt hit the guy's leg, and then Ray McCloud tried to recover it. He tried to pick it up and run, which was dumb. Should have just dove on it.
Yeah.
And then they got the ball, and then I think right away, first play, they threw to MVS and took the lead. Once they took the lead, I was like, man, this is over. But the Niners were able to rally a little bit, right? And then the blocked extra point the Niners answered right away, right after that, with a long drive, 12-play, 75-yard drive that ended with that touchdown to Juwan Jennings, and then Leo Chanel blocks the extra point, and that's when I think everyone's like, "Oh man, we're just trying to give this game away."
Yeah,
and then it didn't matter. I see a lot of chatter about this, and it means nothing. It's kind of being over talked about, but nobody on the Niners knew what the overtime rules were.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Like you said, like I don't think that's like it's definitely being like over talked about, but it's also just like how do you not know? Like how do you not know that? I mean, I personally didn't know it, but I also wasn't playing in the game, so I mean, I feel like the Chiefs were talking about they already knew about this, and they had talked about what they were going to do, and they had a whole game plan for either scenario. So, how do you, as a guy who's playing in the game, and especially your head coach, seemed like he had no idea what to do and made the wrong choice? Like I thought right away you should have just given the ball to the other team. No matter what happens, you give the ball to the other team. And I heard some people say, well, it doesn't matter if they both score a touchdown, then you get the ball back, and then it's your chance to win. Well, it's like, but like the Chiefs had already said, like it's not going to matter because if they score a touchdown and we go down and score a touchdown, we're going for two. And we're going to decide the game here on a 2-yard play, and that's the right call to do, I'd say.
I do think the Niners defense was gassed, and that's probably what led to that them doing that. Again, it just kind of bogs my mind. Adam Schefter said it earlier. He was on the McAfee show, and he's like, there wasn't a memo sent out to all the teams about the overtime rules. They should have just all known. Like, they all do know. So there doesn't have to be a memo sent out. Like, all these teams know. It's just crazy that Kyle Juszczyk, of all people, he's like heart and soul of that team, damn near. He didn't know. Yeah. Like, if they would have scored a touchdown, imagine the whole team just runs on the field acting like the game's over. And it's like, whoa. Sixers versus Celtics throwback with the confetti. Let's bring this back to the sideline, guys. The game's not over. So that would have been funny to see. That would have been cool to see. The halftime show was awesome. I wish it was a little longer, honestly.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Seeing Ludacris pop up was awesome. Lil Jon looks great for, I think he's like 50. That was fun.
Did you realize how old you were when you saw people tweeting, who's that guy? And it was literally them circling Lil Jon. I'm like, oh, man, I'm getting old. There's these 13-year-olds who are like, yo, who the fuck is that guy? They're like, I know that guy. He's in Fast and the Furious. You're like, oh, man, no, you're not talking about Luda. Man. Well, I'm getting old, though.
Sad. We are getting old. We are getting decrepitly old. So, yeah. It was boring. The beginning of the game
was boring itself. I will say that.
I will say the second half, though, at least it got eventful. And it's not just because it's the second half, but like even the third quarter, that's when every play just became so important. You saw a couple fuck-ups happening. You're like, damn, man, like who's going to grab this game and take it? And the Chiefs did, but then the Niners answered. And then the Chiefs, it was then it was back and forth. But yeah, I agree for the most part. But the fact that it did end pretty well, I have no complaints about the game as a whole. Maybe that's because I was, enjoying some beverages and whatnot, but some Delta 8.
We were just watching it as fans. This is the thing about the Super Bowl, especially when the birds aren't in it. It's just a game where you really, you may have a bet here and there, but it's kind of just the ultimate. Just enjoy. It's the last game of the year. Last time you're going to get to see the Shield, the NFL Shield on the field, and get the experience. One more football Sunday before you go into kind of a hibernation for half a year, 7 months, until some meaningful football happens again. So you just enjoy it. You take it in, and the first half seemed like a back and forth of who's going to blink first, who's going to make the first mistake, but then they kind of were going back and forth making mistakes. Pacheco fumble, McCaffrey fumble, and then the second half there were, and Mahomes throwing an interception. There was plenty of mistakes back and forth, but
Kelsey didn't show up in the first half.
No, and he's assaulting Andy Reid on the sideline, which that was quite a thing to see.
That was wild, yeah.
But that's just that's football, though. That's being in the Super Bowl. That's the intensity of everyone's trying to get a certain goal accomplished and done. And you were starting to the intensity on one sideline was like, we are letting this slip through our fingers. We need to do something about it. And the other sideline, I'm not saying they weren't intense, but it just didn't seem like they were able to match that intensity. I mean, crazy, to see Dre Greenlaw blow his Achilles out running onto the field. That's insane. I've never seen that before. That's unfortunate. I know he's had his history with Big Dom. I don't want to see a guy get seriously injured like that. That's seriously unfortunate. Big Dom was on the field before the game though, so that's a little alarming that happened. Maybe somebody should look into that. That the Italians might have pulled something there, but all in all,
also with Dre Greenlaw, real quick, his backup came in, gave up 9 catches on 9 targets, 1 touchdown, had a Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 32, and he had a passer rating of 134.7 when targeted. So yeah, that sucks. That's shout out to Dave Greenlaw, shout out to Dre Greenlaw, shout out to all the Greenlaws. Yeah, seeing that happen, man, in the biggest stage, the biggest moment. Now, what's the status going to be for next year? Like, who knows?
Probably
right?
done next year. Yeah.
Who knows what happens for the rest of his career? So he was a damn good player in college, and he had like fucking thousands of tackles at Arkansas. So yeah, that sucks to see. I hate it. I hate that he's a Niner, and I hate that he tore his Achilles doing calisthenics to get ready to stretch himself before he gets on the field. Just makes a movement, a regular movement, and snaps his Achilles. That's fucking terrible.
Yep. He's just like fired up to get back out in the field, and then Achilles just blows out from him when he's running back out there. So that's unfortunate. I agree with what you said about Brock. I don't think Brock was bad. I don't think he was great, but I don't think he was necessarily bad. He made some good throws here and there, and I just think there's only so much he can do as he's limited as a talent. I would say he didn't. I am in agreement though. I don't think he used his legs that much, but I really don't think he's that quick of a guy when you keep him in the pocket. It seemed like that was the kind of goal from the Niners, or not the Niners, the Chiefs' defensive line, was to kind of hem him in and keep him in the pocket and make him make throws from inside that little confined space. And when he was able to get out, they had somebody spying him and running him down on the outside, or if not spying him, then somebody broke out from the defensive line and kept him from really picking up serious yards on the ground. Mahomes was able to pick up some serious yards with his feet, and Andy still is showing you why he is one of the greatest offensive minds this league has ever seen. He still pulls out plays that you're not expecting, or what was it, one of the 4th downs where they ran that kind of motion with Kelsey, the fake kind of like pitch that they always run, but Mahomes kept it and ran up the middle, picked up like 15 yards. Just stuff like that. The motion that they ran against us last year, that kind of to Juju with that fake going in and then fake going back out when Bradbury kind of peeled off of Gardner. I think that's who it was. But
love it.
Yeah. It's 1
year ago today, actually. My Snapchat decided to tell me, like, hey, this is what happened a year ago today, buddy. Do you remember? Yeah, I remember. So,
goddamn right I do.
Yeah, brutal.
It's unfortunate, but hey, man, the Chiefs, they were a team, like, you saw them live this year, and we kind of talked about leading up to this game. They just seemed like they are one of those like Patriot-like teams that just find a way to win. No matter what happens, they always find a way for things to go their way. And that was another example of that happening in that game last night. And really, I mean, Pat Mahomes won the MVP, and I think it kind of came down to who else were you going to give it to.
Yeah.
Nobody was really worthy of it. Yeah.
Harrison Butker for that field goal, the longest field goal in Super Bowl history. That was pretty crazy.
Moody was bagging 50-yarders like no problem the whole game.
I think who else could you have really given it to? Chris Jones? No. Trent McDuffie? No. Kelsey? No. If Kelsey would have scored the walk-off, the late touchdown, maybe. But honestly, I would have not been upset if McCall Hardman got it. So, but no, I think Mahomes definitely deserved it. I mean, 400 total yards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, dude, just I'm not going to call him the GOAT yet. It's so hard to catch Tom Brady, but man, he's making it look easy on his path, on his journey. He's the same age as you and I. He's 28 and he has 3 rings. I think there's only five quarterbacks with 3 rings all time, right? It's Brady, is it Elway, Mahomes, Montana, and
Bradshaw.
Steve Young? Bradshaw, yes. So maybe Steve Young's in there for Elway. I don't know if Elway I don't know.
I think Elway's got 2.
Yeah, so maybe it is. Yeah. And the fact he's already there at 28. Is he your number 2 best quarterback of all time as it stands right this moment?
Right now, I would probably he's right there with Peyton at 2 in my mind, and I know my list is kind of skewed to Troy Aikman, Bradshaw, Montana, and Brady are the 3 with.
That's right, Aikman.
Yeah,
Fuck
Aikman.
me.
I forgot about him. That's why I wanted to look that up because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, we're missing somebody here that I haven't.
Somebody, yeah.
But no, I think if he hasn't surpassed Peyton, he's right there on his level. Because honestly, why hasn't he surpassed him? Really? Because he may not have the great statistical seasons, but this guy just the way he plays the game, it's so much different than those other guys that we're naming, and he has that in him. He really last year we saw it with our own eyes that. Running to pick up them yards at the end of the game, and he has that it factor, that rip your heart out of your chest kind of.
The Brady factor.
Yes, he really does. He has that, and I think we need to respect it and understand what we're watching, and I do now. And then I don't love it when he's playing the Eagles, but when you're just watching a game against the 49ers, you sure do grow an appreciation for it, and this guy is generational. It really is, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be right there in the conversation with the Joe Montana. He's better than Troy Aikman. Terry Bradshaw. It's just a different game than it was then. So I hate when people start proving that the stats and all that. And it's more to me. It's more of how you how you win these games and how you find a way. And I think in all 3 of their Super Bowl victories, were they down 10 points? I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, both times against the Niners. And
were they down 10 last night?
Yeah, 10-0.
Right, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, so
crazy,
pretty crazy. So that just goes to show you what kind of guy and what he has inside him, and he's built different. Truly is.
How many times did Peyton play on a stacked team and come up short?
Yeah,
and kind of get himself carried to a ring that one time, right, with the Broncos.
Oh hell yeah!
He had that legendary season that absolutely was like 20 of 50 in the game. So. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I mean, an actual dual threat, just so smart and so methodical and so surgical. He's up there for sure. I mean, he's probably going to get another one or 2, right? I don't see why not.
Why not?
We'll see what they do next year. I mean, they're going to have to give him some receivers, right? Because there's a chance that things just don't go.
But do they? He just won. I mean, he just won the Super Bowl with MVS and Rashee Rice.
Yeah. I think they should definitely draft another Rashee Rice type, or maybe get a big, speedy guy kind of to replace MVS or Hardman. I'm sure both of them won't be back. Maybe get another tight end just to kind of, have another option. And I'm sure, let's say they win it again. Let's say they win it next year. Does Kelsey retire? I think maybe him and Big Red hang him up, or at least one of them. So you're going to have to try to find another game breaker in some sort, a running back or a receiver or a tight end, and they're pretty good at finding those guys. So I have faith in them to do that. Good front office, good coaching staff in general. They're going to keep Spags. Nobody's going to really want him as a head coach. He's older, so they're going to be back again.
Yeah, and really, no reason not to. They're in a perfect situation. I on the other side of the field, you got the 49ers who again come up short, and I find it hilarious, obviously, and I think you do as well. I just fuck them. That's how I feel. I don't care. You all popped in the comments. You had cry 49ers or whatever, cry Eagles, cry. You had all that shit to talk. You said all that shit after the Super Bowl last year when we got screwed, and you knew it. And now you have no excuse. You said, well, it would have been different if Brock was healthy and Brock played, and when Brock's here, it'll be different. Well, you made the Super Bowl. You choked. Your head coach is a choker. He's a known choke artist. And the same thing happened once again. So congratulations to the 49ers for coming up short. You'll be paying Brock Purdy franchise quarterback money soon enough. I don't know if it's this offseason, but that time is coming up.
No, they still got a couple years.
Yeah.
They got lucky that they drafted him in the 7th round and didn't sign him as a UDFA because they have more control, and then they can tag him. So they don't have to, extend him, but eventually they're going to have to make a choice, right? A couple years, they're definitely going to have a decision to make. I would not pay him big money, but I also kind of said that about Hurts, and I was like, well, what the fuck else are we going to do? I saw people saying that Shanahan needs a quarterback to transcend his system, and I just don't know where you can get those guys. I mean, this draft class is pretty weak at quarterback, and they're all going to go early, top 5, top 10. Look at next year, man. It's bad. There should be somebody like Jaden Daniels, who just pops up out of nowhere and then is one of the top 3, top 5 quarterbacks. But it's Carson Beck, it's Shadur Sanders, and that's it. People want to hype up Jalen Milrow. I think he stinks.
He's
honestly.
not
I think
good.
I think he might just have to move positions in the NFL. I'm not saying that because he's a running quarterback. I'm saying that because he can't throw. He kind of reminds me of Terrell Pryor a little bit, just a little thicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they have a lot of what ifs. They have a lot of question marks. The San Francisco 49ers, their O-line, besides Trent Williams, is not great. And what happens when Trent Williams finally ages, or somebody knocks him the fuck out? Hopefully. But what happens when Kittle or Debo or Ayuk leave? They're gonna have to give Ayuk a lot of money, and I think they will because they know he's probably their best receiver, true receiver. But yeah, not having Hufanaga definitely hurt them. They had a couple injuries, but Nick Bosa was balling. I didn't notice Hargrave that much. I think he had a couple big plays, but yeah, the NFC, at least the NFC is pretty not good, right? At least they have that going for them. But it's still going to be tough, man. Getting back there is, look how hard it was for us, right? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I would say they're probably more equipped to get back there than we were necessarily this year. But
we lost everything.
Yeah, but again, it's who's to say? They're going to have a lot of the same coaching staff. I think they have a lot better of a leadership structure in their just kind of franchise in general, with John Lynch running things down to Kyle Shanahan. But things are going to start to kind of burst at the seams there, I would assume, because how many times can you get back or get close like that with the same kind of crew of guys, with mix in here and there, and the Debo, Kittle, and you come up short, and at some points the fingers are going to start pointing, and people are going to start getting upset and mad at Shanahan or mad at this guy or mad at that guy. It's kind of what happened this year here in Philadelphia. So anything can happen. You got another year, of Debo, another year older, Kittle, another year older. All these guys another year older. It's unfortunate. They come up short again. It's unfortunate for them. It's great for me. Fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
Fletcher Cox told them to eat a dick after the game. So
good.
That's because they don't know when to shut the fuck up. I think that is 49ers, the players and the fans' problem is they don't know when to shut their mouths. And now they're finding it out.
Fan base.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think one of the worst fan bases for sure. Them and the Raiders. There's a reason those guys brawl every game. How many times do you see Eagles fans brawling after a game on social media? It's not that often. Surely a couple times, but I don't really see that, man. I see a lot of Bills. I see a lot of Raiders, Niners, Cowboys. Yeah, the Niners suck. The fan base sucks. They suck. They play in San Fran. Blow me. Eat a dick, like Fletcher Cox
Eat a dick,
said.
As Fletcher Cox said. That's pretty crazy.
Telling somebody to eat a dick is one of the best
Yeah.
things, I think. You could tell somebody, one of the best insults. Like, I think go fuck yourself is good.
Yeah.
I think eat a dick is really good.
That is. And A.J. Brown was probably at home crying last night because his boy Debo lost. Because he loves Debo so much. A really weird relationship that some of these NFL guys have with each other. Yeah. I'm sure Darius Slay was crying, saying sad to see the Bird Gang take an L or something like that.
Very, very weird relationships, like you said. Kind of similar to the Arkansas basketball program. If you've been keeping up with that.
Oh boy, that's not exactly the same thing, but
it could be.
I don't know.
AJ Brown's a bit odd.
I don't know. I'm not saying
anything
in that.
DK Metcalf also. NFL receivers in general, I think, are just absolute crazy. Odell Beckham, him and Kim K are together. What do you think of that?
How about that? Yeah, so they're taking the next steps in their relationship. Kim K, man, she loves her athletes. She likes the. Yeah, I don't really care. I don't.
Also, he was with Chloe at one time, I believe. So he's just making his way through the fam.
Watch out, Courtney. Watch out, Kylie. Kendall.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons. Did you see the video of Ben Simmons speaking Chinese? They did like a Chinese New Year for the Brooklyn Nets, and they had them all speaking Chinese, and that's what somebody commented. They're like, dude, you have no idea the meme potential that all of this has.
Get ready to learn Chinese. Looks like you already have.
It's literally Ben Simmons speaking Chinese. I'm like, this is good. One bad game next week, I'm going to be seeing him speaking Chinese on my timeline with 30,000 likes on it. Just easy.
The Samsung Sharks or the Shanghai Sharks.
The Guangdong Tigers is one of my favorite ones as well. But And on that note, end of the NFL season. Next will be the draft, I guess, is the big thing. You'll have free agency and whatnot. I don't really know of the big NFL free agents that are going to be available if there's going to be.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, so some of the dates, February 20th is when the tags are going to get started. The combine is going to be end of February to March. I think it's like 4 days, right? The franchise tag designation deadline will be March 5th. Free agency begins the 11th, I believe, and then I guess the contact period is the 11th. You can't officially sign until the 13th of March. And then there's, what else? We have a league meeting, March 24th to 27th in Orlando. Maybe I'll be down there.
Hell yeah.
Or up there, I should say. April 15th, off-season workout programs. 19th, deadline for restricted free agents. Also the day of Taylor Swift's new album. And then April 25th to the 27th, we have the draft. So I'm excited. For sure. Whoever we take at 22, I want Kool-Aid, man. I'm trying to see if Kool-Aid McKinstry can stick around to 22, but we'll see if a lot of corners start going. I like that kid from Toledo, Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, I want a corner. That's what I want with my first pick in the round. But just defense, I think, in general, is what I want with that first pick. A linebacker, a corner, safety, something. I saw us pass on Brian Branch, and now he's one of the best safety/nickels in the league, and not happy about it. Not happy. I feel like we've had some misses.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's going to be a lot that's figured out from free agency as well that will kind of figure out what they're targeting in the draft,
for sure.
and things will become a little bit more clear. I mean, the free agents this year, it's not that bad. I mean, and not that I'm saying we're in line to get any of these guys, but there's names like Mike Evans out there. I don't know how accurate this is. I'm on Spot Track. Just kind of looking at some of the contracts that are on Mike Evans, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler. I think we'll be looking for a running back. I don't know if at that level, but I mean, there could be.
Yeah.
We could be interested in something like that. Who knows? And we talked about the linebackers, the Devin Whites of the world and whatnot.
No
but
thanks.
We should be curious to see what's going to happen. And is Tyron Smith a free agent for the Cowboys? I don't know.
I would be surprised.
I don't know how accurate any of this stuff is, so I never know.
You never know. There's always options and shit.
or they
whatnot.
rework this guy's contract, and who knows? But I was just curious to see if PFF does have free agent to be rankings. Chris Jones is going to be a free agent.
Yeah,
So
I think they'll keep him.
I mean, they fucking sure should. If not, I would sell the farm and start clearing cap out if I could get a guy like that and on my team. Kirk Cousins, I know that's not something we're looking for, but he's going to be a free agent. Josh Allen from the Jaguars, that's one that I actually would be very, very interested in, especially since Hassan Reddick asked for a trade, and we're granting him the right to look or pursue a trade.
Which I'm not against because he's 29.
Neither am I. We talked about it. Either one of those guys, him and Sweat, could go. They made no
$60
impact.
million. I'm good. I don't want to give a 29-year-old a big deal. Not that he doesn't deserve it. Somebody else can do that. The Jaguars can do that as we take Josh Allen. I feel like that's a good swap, right? So something like that. I saw somebody say, it's Nolan Smith's time. And I'm like, well, slow down a little bit. I don't know if he's ready to come in and just play all of Hassan Reddick snaps. I'm not sure if that's really what we want to do right away. But sure, something we want to look towards getting him on the field more. He is pretty young for his, for where he is in the league, also very raw. So I don't want to anoint Nolan Smith's season yet. Not yet. But for sure, definitely get him involved more in the pass rushing game. Hopefully bring BG back. We'll see what Fletcher wants to do. We'll even see if we'll see if Kelsey wants to come back.
Yeah.
Somebody said maybe he's going to unretire to play for the Chiefs. I don't know about that one. Yeah, he'd be public enemy number one, I think, in this. That would be a huge, huge drop-off in fan support.
I just think of it from the logistical standpoint of it. Does he really want to uproot his family for a year to go to Kansas City to go play with the Chiefs, who already have a center? And there's a lot of different. I think in theory there'd be more. I think there's more likelihood of Travis coming here than there is Jason going there, and I don't think either one's going to happen. I'm just saying in general, logistically would make more sense for Travis to come here than anything else. But what about T. Higgins? He's also a free agent.
I would love to see Higgins, but somebody's going to give him a lot of like 20, 25
Yep.
million a year. So
Brian
that's
Burns.
tough. I like Brian Burns. I think we almost traded for him.
Yeah, so that could be a name you could see end up. Christian Wilkins, Justin Marubike, I believe is how you say this gentleman's name.
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
sure. Who knows? And Antoine
Thanks for saying
Winfield
that.
Jr. Now,
Minnesota boy.
Now we're talking. Antoine Winfield Jr. How about that? Jalen Johnson from the Bears.
Like him. Utah.
L'Jarius Sneed. Would love him. I don't know if
Louisiana
that's...
Tech right there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible. Michael Pittman Jr. I didn't know he was a free agent as well. Man, this is going to be a good free agent class. Danielle Hunter. I mean, Mike Evans all the way down here at 13. I know he's like on the older side, but he's still got some burn left in him. Tyron Smith, the Cowboys. Kendall Fuller. I'll just read a couple more of these. Leonard Williams, Hollywood Brown, Bryce Huff, DJ Reader, and Kyle Duggar.
Love DJ Reader.
So there's about the top 20. I think it's a couple good names in there. Calvin Ridley, that's also another name to kind of look out for. I don't know if the Eagles will be involved in any sort of wide receivers. Chase Young also played his last game for the 49ers last night. Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. There's a lot of Frankie Louva. We talked about all these guys, but I could keep going, scrolling down this list. And be like, I'd like that guy. I like that guy. Yeah. There's really a lot of names
TJ Edwards
are available. Hey, maybe. But that is the NFL for the season. I hope you all enjoyed the year. I did too. I enjoyed talking about it all year long. It's kind of the first real year we had a week by week breakdown of the Eagles season. And we will continue throughout the offseason. We're not going away, ladies and gentlemen. We are not just a football podcast. We are a sports podcast. We are a Philly sports podcast. And we move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. That's right. I know you all are so excited about this, but we took last week off, kind of not by choice. I almost died on Thursday and Friday afternoon, so those were the 2 days we were really going to... Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you that. After that podcast, I took a nap, went to work, fought for my life to get through work, threw up the whole night. I threw up the whole night, was shitting water. It was a really bad situation. And then woke up Friday morning or Friday afternoon. Friday morning, still felt like shit. Took a nap. Woke up Friday like afternoonish. Was ready to go. I was all right. I'm back in the game. But it was.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had a very vivid dream last night.
Oh Jesus!
That I got in a plane crash.
Nice.
But we survived.
Awesome.
Somehow. I woke up and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Did I survive a plane crash last night? I kind of hope so, but. So we've been close to death in many. Yeah, we've been going through it in real life and in the dreaming world. So yeah, hopefully you're all good going forward. Hopefully I don't get in any plane crashes.
You know who else is going through it? The Sixers organization. So let's go that way. How about that for a segue?
Yeah, the half-court offense.
Yeah, the Sixers have fallen by the wayside. They have fallen apart in the last week or so. We missed the trade deadline, but I think the Sixers did as well. They didn't realize that they were supposed to get guys for some of the guys they were getting. They seemed like they were just cleaning cap out for really no reason. We'll go through some of these deals, but before that, I think, Ty, we even found out that the Embiid situation was going to be we have to wait 4 weeks, and then it's going to be a reevaluation, or is it 6 weeks? Yeah. I'm not sure.
I think it's 4 and then probably a couple more.
A couple more, and then we'll probably see him in 2 months was probably the thought process.
Yeah. I want to see him in the regular season just a little bit before the playoffs. I don't want him coming right back in the playoffs, all that pressure. Next thing you know, he's 5 of 18 from the field, and we're going home in 4 games to the Pacers, something like that.
Yeah.
I want to see him get some. Honestly, I don't think it matters. He's going to be hurt. He's going to be worn down. He's going to be slowed down by this nagging injury. It's not going to just go away.
No,
it's not happening. And then combining that with his lack of playoff success, I mean, he has one of the biggest drop-offs in points per game from regular season to postseason, I think, ever in NBA history. I think he is the number one with like 11, 12-point drop-off in the 30s to 20 in the playoffs. So mixing that with a bad knee, yeah. And also, we just don't go deep as a team, really. I mean,
definitely not anymore.
The other day against the Wizards, and this won't be like this in the playoffs, the other day against the Wizards, our 3 guys off the bench that we played, only 3 of them were Ricky Council, who, by the way, played great.
He did.
I would love to see him play some more. Ricky Council, the 4th, Cam Payne, and KJ Martin. That's our rotation.
Did you see also that Ricky Council's brothers are also just named Ricky Council, but they have one less number?
No.
I don't know if that's true, but I saw somebody tweet that, and I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. I don't know if it's true, and I just kind of was like one of them things where like, oh yeah, that's fine, I'll go.
I'll
with
believe
that.
it. Yeah.
I'll go.
So yeah,
with
he
it.
actually had a double, played it pretty well. The Providence legend. Actually, he's from Arkansas.
Yes.
Actually, he's from both. So
Ricky Council's
believe
two
he's-
older brothers are also named after his father, Ricky Council. Both Ricky Council II and Ricky Council III also played college basketball. So there you go.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I feel. I guess that makes sense. Why I'm like, damn. I feel like Ricky Council's been around for a while. You know,
You've
I feel
seen
like
a couple of them.
He's been playing basketball for a long time now. I don't know why that's so, but it turns out I think Ricky was not from. I think he's from Wichita State in Arkansas, not Providence. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the other ones went to Providence.
Who knows?
That could be an option, but yeah. Oh yeah, I think the other one did. Right? No, he went. Yeah, Ricky Council II went to Providence. See,
hard to keep track. Really
not too
hard.
crazy.
Really hard to keep track, but the Sixers got Buddy Hield, Ty. That was the move that really shocked me personally because it kind of didn't make all that much sense compared to when you looked later on and when they did all the other moves. You were like, well, why did you do that? The first move made you think, wow, like they might actually be out here going to get, like, they're going after. We talked about, I know you have already been on they're done. Like, that's cooked. And I was of the thought process of, if they really want to compete this year and survive this sort of stretch, they need to go out and get one of those names like the DeJounte Murray and someone like someone of that stature, maybe a DeMar DeRozan. I know like these guys aren't going to change the world, but they'll maybe hold you over and help you win those Wizards games or the Cavaliers games, or maybe find a way to win some of these games. They trade what? Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and 3 seconds. Was that the extent of that deal? I think. But for Buddy Hield is now a Sixer. In the last couple of games, it'll probably be great once Joel comes back. But who knows?
He's playing pretty well in his first couple games here. He's getting like the most assists of any player on our team, which kind of makes me confused because he hasn't passed the ball. But I'm not mad at this trade at all. I mean, the second round picks, nothing. Marcus Morris, I mean, he already got traded again and then bought out. Furkan Korkmaz, we needed to trade because he had some money that we had to get rid of so he can be under the second apron, I guess is what it is. And what else? Second round picks were Toronto's in 2024, Portland's in 2029, the Clippers in 2029. So yeah, I'm not going to be upset about that at all. I like the addition. We were very strapped for cash. I mean, we're going to get a bunch of cap space in the offseason, I'm saying, but there was not much we could do. Kind of like the Lakers. The Lakers didn't do anything at the deadline because they kind of couldn't. We were in a similar way. Like nobody wanted Tobias Harris. People were like, why is Tobias Harris still a Sixer? It's like nobody wants him. You can't just. What are you going to You're going to trade him? You're going to force trade? You can't do that. Nobody wants him. You can't trade him. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Nobody wants D'Angelo Russell.
Nobody would like take a bite on him for the last stretch of the season, though. Don't you think
I'm not.
You could get 3 good months out of him to maybe help your team? I guess really, if you're trying to win a championship, you're not going to add Tobias Harris.
No, definitely not.
I guess that's probably the thought process.
I saw people complaining about the Jaden Springer trade. I don't understand why he shoots like 30% from the field.
I just think it's who they gave him to.
Yeah, give him the Boston. He's not going to play there. I don't care. He's going to play 5 minutes. He's going to play 15 minutes a game. He's going to get 5 fouls, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and he's going to be like 1 of 5 from the field. He's going to be like Matisse Thybulle. That's exactly what he is. I saw people saying, "Oh, we just helped Boston." It's like, no, we did not help Boston. I'm sorry. We traded his money because it was guaranteed. I
was more just like, why did they do that now? Like, it didn't seem like it was really like a necessity. And he's like, well, he's 2 to 3 years away from really helping us if he ever does. And it's like, well, you knew that when you drafted him, so I don't know really why you would trade him now, because it doesn't, like, wouldn't you wait a little bit longer and wait for the asset to kind of grow a little bit, maybe get a little bit more from him. And it's tough though, Ty, because you see him like the last week that he was here. He's guarding Luka, he's guarding
He's
Curry.
playing better.
He's doing pretty
The timing was
good.
weird,
Yeah,
for sure. I agree.
That's where I agree with people, because it's like, damn, that's tough, because you felt like you were finally starting to get the fruits of the labor of putting all that work in and having him play in the G League and all that. So I get what they're saying, and that with the Celtics, I don't think, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, the Celtics just won the championship because they got Jaden Springer added into, like you said, he's not even going to play. Really, so it's unfortunate for him. He's probably, hopefully he gets sent to their G League and he can get more work in. But he really was starting to kind of spread his wings as a defensive guy. Because when they played the Jazz on TNT, he was like locking up Jordan Clarkson toward the end of that game. You could tell he is a factor on the defensive end. It's just another one of them guys where you need something from him on the offensive end, and they can't shoot at all. So you can't even stand in the corner and catch and shoot every once in a while. It's killer. What else did they do? They traded they traded Pat Bev for Campaign in a second, I think, and that was more of the emotional aspect of it, which didn't make much sense because Campaign's not. The belief is that he's not going to add much, but Pat Bev was not giving you really all that much off the bench, and not especially on the offensive end. The only problem I have with a lot of their trades is they seemed all really offensive centric, when I was really liking how, when the team was hitting it all cylinders, how they were doing well on the defensive end. That was the negative, I thought, from all these different moves. But again, it's more of the emotional aspect of trading Pat Bev for Campaign, and now he's going to the Bucks to play with Doc, and he was gonna fight Dame Lillard multiple times in the past. So, and they trade Daniel House for nothing, and
thank God.
And it's just another nothing trade. And that's right, Ty. They cleared room. They, after all that cap manipulation, after all the stuff they were able to clear the deck for, getting under that apron, they still were able to scrounge up the funds to acquire Mr. BBL himself. Kyle Lowry is coming back home, and he literally put out a hype video. He put out a hype video, Ty, of him coming home. I'm coming home.
That's great.
That's so sad. Home. And I saw somebody, I retweeted it. It was the Big 3 graphic, and it was the guy from Batman going, "What are you showing me? Come on!" But Kyle Lowry is 37. He will be 38 in March. And really, what can you say? It's one of the most underwhelming times for this to happen. I was ready for this to happen 3 years ago, I think, when he was going to Miami or something like that.
Yeah.
Or, really, though, Ty, in the last 4 games he played, and he was playing 25, 24, 29, and 24 minutes. I believe this was for the Miami Heat. I don't think he ever really did suit up for the Hornets.
The Hornets, no.
He scored 2, 4, 2, and 2. So
I like it.
He had a couple good assist games. So do you think, this is a good question, do you think Kyle Lowry will give you more off the bench than Pat Bev was?
Very similar. I think they're very similar in multiple ways. Like, Kyle Lowry's like a leader, an outspoken, a tenacious guy, right? He, in his prime, was a tough defender. I don't know if he's much of that anymore, really. He could be. I truthfully have not watched him play much basketball. He seems like he can still shoot a little bit, so that's good. I will take Campaign and Kyle Lowry over Pat Bev. I will. I think that's obvious, but also I see a lot of people, a lot of people in Philly are very attached to Patrick Beverley. I'm not really sure why.
He had that Philly mentality, brother.
Yeah. Well, I don't want it. I'm good. What I want is somebody that can score the ball, and I'm not saying these guys are fucking Dame Lillard, but I think these two, I think it's a net positive. I think we upgraded from Patrick Beverley with these. Pat Bev isn't even that good of a defender anymore. Like, he's, he can get up in your grill and grab your jersey and play a little rough, but, he gets blown by a lot. He gets, beat to the spot a lot. So I'm not worried about losing Pat Bev. A lot of people are. It's kind of driving me a little crazy, but the way I look at it is it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. So without Embiid, obviously nothing matters. But even with even with him, I don't see what's what are we going to do? When are we going to make this run? Who are you? Are we going to beat the Celtics or the Bucks, or are we going to beat the Pacers or the Knicks or the Cavs? Like now we're starting to fall back into the Eastern Conference standing. Before it was,
We talked about
I know that the injury, obviously, we didn't see this coming, even though we kind of could have predicted it. But now we're in fifth, and we're only 2 games above the Pacers for sixth. I'm sorry, for fifth, and we're only 2.5 ahead of Orlando, and only 3.5 ahead of Miami, and even 6.5 above Chicago. Like we could,
We're getting close to slipping into that play-in, dude.
We probably will be in that. Yeah.
No, we probably will. I would say my prediction is they wind up 7 or 8.
Yeah, that would be, man, if we finish below fucking Miami.
I mean, have you watched any of the games since Embiid's been out and like no Maxey, and even when Maxey's played, Maxey really. There's a conversation that we're not going to have right now, but that needs to be had centered around that gentleman, dude, because he is the most inconsistent hit or miss kind of guy. I mean, I guess it's hard when your supporting cast is just Tobias Harris throwing up 12 points, but
Kelly Oubre, was either 5 of 5 from 3 or 0 for 5.
But I mean, I need more from you against. I don't even know if it was the Hawks or not. I don't remember.
The Hawks, yeah, the Hawks dropped 127. The Warriors dropped 127.
Play in that game.
The Mavericks came back from a big deficit. Yeah. The Nets dropped like 136 on us at home. The Wizards were going.
It was the Warriors game. He plays 30 minutes, scores 12 points.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenyon Martin Jr. outscored him. That can't happen. Ricky Council
outscored Quinones had 13 points for the Warriors that game, 4 of 7 from 3. They were 16 of 38. Curry only had 1 3. He only had 9 points, and they still torched us.
I thought you said Landon Quinones because that guy just fought in the UFC last week. Lester Quinones.
Yeah, I did. Lester. Yeah,
wow.
Lester,
yeah, okay. No, I literally was like, holy shit.
The UFC fighter has also dropping buckets in Philly. Yeah,
talent.
Lester Quinones, the Memphis boy. Andrew Wiggins had one of his best games of the year against us. Like we are free falling, is what I want to say. I mean, we got the Cavs coming up tonight. Probably going to get smoked there. We got the Heat tomorrow or on Wednesday. We got the Cavs, Heat, Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics is how we're ending this month of February. Good luck. And then we start March with a couple of easy games ish. Hornets, Grizzlies mixed in, but I don't know how many games are really easy at this point. I mean, I guess looking at our schedule, we have more hard games than easy games.
Oh yeah,
and that's just looking at that's just a first look. If we don't have Embiid for any of these games, they're all going to be tough. So hopefully we can get him back for April. Maybe we can get him in there against the Spurs, Grizzlies. He can drop like 25 in like 10 minutes, and we can feel good about ourselves. But I'm not sure.
To end the month, they go to Cleveland, come back home, play the Heat, Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics. I don't see a win in that whole thing.
Yeah, no. Maybe the Heat because they're at home, but
I think they'll find a way to win one of those games.
We're 11-point dogs tonight against the Cavs. So
does that mean Maxey's not playing?
Rolling. That might mean that, but yeah, I don't know.
I guess it doesn't really matter. Sixers downgrade starter Tobias Harris out. Like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, left hip impingement. That guy is the worst. These guys all.
I have one of those, I think.
We need you the most right now, and you're all just calling out of work, or you're all sick. They don't want any blood to be on their hands. They don't want any of them to be their fault. The Sixers are toast. It's just kind of, we're going to have to watch these guys bleed out and flail around on the deck. It's like they took the fish out of the water, and they're just flopping around, and we're all just staring at it. Somebody should throw it back in the water, but we're all just like, this is how it kind of this is how it happens. This is the end of the season, and then they'll try to run it back and do the same shit next year. I am as apathetic again. Back to, the Sixers got me in for a good 2 months before they broke my heart again. So there you go. So, and we have another 30 games left of this nonsense before we can really put it to rest, and that's it. So that is the Sixers. That is the Hot Take Hot Box for the most part. Flyers.
Got some Beanpot action.
Yeah, who cares?
Tonight.
Actually,
no, you don't care? You want to see the number 1 overall pick?
Cutter's not in there, so yeah, I actually am interested.
Number 1 overall pick, Macklin Celebrini, is playing tonight at 7:30 on ESPN Plus for the BU Terriers against Northeastern. I'm actually really excited to watch him because it looks like the Blackhawks are so pathetic. They might get the number 1 pick again.
Hell yeah.
Which I mean, obviously, I'm fine with. More than fine with. I don't want to get the second, third,
Better
fourth, and
than
fifth,
not,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, if you ain't
100%.
first, you're last, motherfucker. But Bedard should be coming back soonish. So maybe fans can finally tune back in. But yeah, what's going on with the Flyers? It looks like they're 5-5.
Flyers are still winning, dude.
1-3 in a row.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, their point differential, it's starting to go down. They're only at +4 in the year. So I think the law of averages, right? It's a long season, but. Big win against the Kraken, big win against the Jets, and a huge win against the Panthers. So, yeah, they got the Coyotes tonight. That should be probably a win, but you never know.
Should be.
And then the Maple Leafs, we got the Stadium Series game against the Devils. They go to Chicago. Me and you will be there on site.
Hopefully.
They play the Rangers, go to Pittsburgh, play the Lightning at home. They have a pretty tough schedule too, man. Jeez. Yeah. March looks a little more lighter, but still, it's gonna be like I said, like you said earlier, and we still have 30 more games of the NBA. We still got 30 more games of NHL plus, not including the playoffs. So, what are your overall thoughts right now? Not, I don't want you to predict anything, but where do you stand right now?
I think the Fly guys are in a really good spot right now. I think there was that rough little period after the whole Carter Hart announcement. And Tippett was hurt, and there was a couple things that just weren't going their way, and it seemed like, there's a couple opportunities this season, Ty, where they could have rolled over and been the team that everybody thought they were going to be, or kind of had projected them, and they reject that every time, and that is what I really do love about this team, because there was, what was that, last week or 3 weeks ago, they lost 5 in a row. Avalanche, Senators, yep. Lightning, Red Wings, and none of those games were particularly close other than that Senators game. So it's good to see them come back from this little break, the All-Star break. They get a big win at against the Panthers. I think it was on the road too, so that was huge victory. Yeah. Take care of the Jets, like you said. The Jets are a good team, and then the Kraken, and then the Coyotes. They should take care of business against them as well, and they are still sitting pretty in a playoff spot. They're getting chased down by, the Islanders, I guess, but the Islanders, they're 6 points behind them, for that last spot in the Metro.
The Devils, I don't know what's going on with the Devils. I guess they're waiting for them to turn it around, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Also, the Penguins, waiting for them to turn around. I'm not sure that's going to happen either. So it looks like the Fly guys hopefully can keep a top 3 spot in the Metro.
Yeah, and they're less than 30 games. The Flyers do. I mean, they have the most games played in the whole Eastern Conference. Pretty much, they're tied 4. With the Lightning. It's
still kind of weird.
That is weird, but that's
48.
That's something that you would have to they have 3 games on the Devils, and the Devils are 8 points back. So they're that's not doesn't mean they're going to win all of them, come back. Who knows? But it's a lot needs to be kind of ironed out here before the end of the season. But I like where the Flyers are sitting right now, and I'd be curious to see what they do. Come the deadline, I don't think they're gonna go out and get somebody, which I don't think they really need to. They kind of can just hang out and maybe trade a Sean Walker or a Ristolainen or one of those defensemen and just get something back. Like they I see people they should trade TK. They should trade I'm not trading any of these guys unless you're giving me something highly valuable. We're not trying to sell pieces off. We're just trying to get better and get better for the future. If you can help us, then we'll do that. I would trade Sean Walker for a first, maybe even a second. If they can get a first for him, then I'm all in. But I think the Flyers really, overall, are in a great spot here, and I am excited. I mean, they are must-watch TV. Like tonight, I think they're both on, the Sixers and the Flyers. I'll be watching the Flyers. Flyers Coyotes. Yeah. I'll be locked in on that. I'm more excited for that. So
the number 3 in the Metro, there's going to be a nice race for that spot.
Yeah.
There's going to be a nice... The Blackhawks have 2 points less than the Sharks, who have a game in hand on them. The battle for the number 1 spot in the league, draft-wise, at least hopefully. That's going to be a spot. That's going to be a tough a race to watch. And then points, leading the points in the league leader in points. I guess is that the Art Ross? Or is that the
I think so. I don't.
Unless it's just the MVP. Yeah, they all have names. Nikita Kucherov is 89 points in 52 games. Nathan McKinnon has 85 in 53 games. Pasternak 75 in 52. McDavid 71 in 46. So it looks like Looks like Cooch, man. He's still rumbling. He's still
Could be another
rolling.
collision course, a rematch of that Stanley Cup final of the Avalanche.
I mean, the amount. It could be. It could be. Now, I'm going to give you my project. I keep fucking up on saying predict and project. I keep combining them. Predict. I'm going to go with the Fighting Cats, the Panthers of Florida, representing the Eastern Conference, and they are going to match up against who? I'm going to say it. I don't believe it yet. The Edmonton Oilers of the Western Conference. They're rolling. They lost like once in the year of 2024. They're still in third place in the Pacific, and they're barely ahead of the Kings. But Vancouver has been unbelievable from start to finish. They've been the best team in the league, I believe. Them in Boston. Still
feels like they'll get fraud checked, though, don't you think?
Absolutely, yes. Rangers, I'm just not there with them or the Hurricanes, but I can see the Rangers have a lot of firepower. I'm going to go Oilers or Dallas. I think maybe this is Dallas's year to finally break through, but maybe Colorado fraud checks, and maybe Winnipeg finally finds some of their form earlier in the season. But it should be a good playoffs for the NHL. I think Boston, Florida, Tampa, Toronto, New York, Carolina, Philly, like those are all solid teams, man. Detroit even. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully Blackhawks keep losing. Do you know how many Blackhawks wins? How many road wins the Blackhawks have?
Boy.
Out of 28 games, how many do you think they have?
They probably have 3.
4.
Okay.
Close. They've lost 6 in a row.
I just saw the record that they only had 14 wins overall, so I was like, it's got to be low. It's got to be real.
Not good. They're 10-12 at home, so that's good. But negative 74 point differential. The Sharks are at negative 92, which is just insane. And nobody else is even really close. So I guess Anaheim, but yeah.
There you go. That's hockey talk from the boys, man.
Hockey talk. Oh, college hockey talk. A little bean pot action tonight, 7:30 again. Macklin Celebrini. Hopefully he's playing with Connor Bedard in the future, but he's going to be lighting the lamp tonight against Harvard, I believe.
Can I bet that?
I'm not sure. They're playing Northeastern, so whatever. Boston College is playing Harvard right now in the consolation game. Boston College, I believe, is the number 1 team in the country. Yeah, they're number 1, and BU is 2. So looks like the Boston area knows how to play some hockey.
Also, forgot to mention that scumbag POS Rob Gronkowski missing that kick last night for the fucking FanDuel thing. What a piece of fucking garbage, man.
Yeah, I don't want to see that ever again.
I mean, I'm so sick of that shit. I wish I wouldn't have picked, and I picked because I thought, they got to make it this year. He missed last year. The odds are he's going to make it. They had Carl Weathers in the commercial hyping him up. Carl Weathers dies, and this scum can't even fucking find it within himself to make the field goal. Are you kidding me? That's all I wanted to say on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's pretty sad. I would have made it.
I would hope that a professional athlete could make a field goal if he practiced it at all, but I guess not. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult. Pat McAfee's probably somewhere screaming about how it's not as easy as it looks and stuff like that. So there you go. Pat McAfee will be on Monday Night Raw tonight. I know you'll be tuned in. So
I'll be watching.
We got a lot to watch.
I've actually just started watching the Raw. The WWE. I've reassumed my journey. Starting in the late 90s, so I'm going to see what kind of invasion we have coming up soon, so I'm excited about that.
Hell yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So, this has been the Hot Take Hotbox. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I'm Ty Capone.
And ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you are going to enjoy a nice beverage, from time to time, it's not bad to sneak a water in. And just keep yourself hydrated so you can go all night long. All night.
Ooh.